Now let's have the regression naman. So we are already done with the correlation, which talks about the significant relationship, association, or likelihood of the variables. Now, for the regression, we're trying to see, or we're trying to test the impact or the strength of the relationship between variables. So yun yung regression. And let's start with the simple linear regression. So how to navigate that using Jamovi. So let's have our data here. Okay, you just click the regression and then the linear regression. So by the way, sa simple linear regression, it simply measures that or this is the model that we use to check the strength of relationship or the impact of relationship of the independent and dependent variable. So this only involved one IV and one DV. So for simple linear regression, let's have our first is our cost as our dependent variable. And since isa lang dapat yung other variable natin, at let's have the number of passenger. Okay, so first, let's check all the assumption. Santayin natin muna mag-load. Okay, so the first one is the Cook's distance. So we need to make sure na walay mo taas dira sa more than one or so pasok. And then the Darwin-Watson, it's greater than 0.05. So okay siya. Si collinearity as well is good. Si normality test is still accepted. Then si QQ plot naman, walang significant outlier. So basically, na-check natin lahat si assumption. Now, let's go with the overall model test to see if significant ba yung model natin. Okay, so for model fit measures, pinaka-importante natin na tingnan is si p-value because this will tell us if significant ba yung model or mga variables na ginamit natin. Which in this case, it's a yes, there's a significant yung model na ginagamit natin. Which means na yung number of passenger and yung cost is tama siya na variable or the model that we are using now. Then the next one, si R squared naman, if you could remember, this is the coefficient of determination that will give us the percentage of pila ba ang percentage na mahatag ni IV sa DV. So pila ba ang kumbaga iyang impact na ma-provide to DV. So in this case, it's 89.9%. So that means that 89.9% of the variation of the dependent variable can be accounted to the independent variable, which in this case, the number of passenger. Then our next one naman na pwede nating tingnan or to predict or to know if unsa ba among this or unsa ba ka if using this variable na predict ba na jud nato si cost or si DV, so we'll check the model coefficient for cost. So in this one, si p-value here, the p-value will tell if significant predictor ba si independent variable sa ato ang dependent variable. So since less than 0.05 man ito, that means that the number of passenger is statistically significant predictor to cost. So that's it for the simple linear regression. That's in how we interpret. Okay, so for the next one is a multiple regression. So for multiple regression, this now involve two or more independent variables. So how to navigate multiple regression using Jamovi. So first one is the click regression, and then linear regression, and then let's continue what we have for the simple linear regression. Let's still have the cost as our independent variable, then the number of passengers as our covariant, sales, year, And then let's have gender as our factor. Okay, so before we proceed in analyzing the data, let's have first the assumption. Click natin to sila lahat. Then hintayin natin mag-load si Jamovi. So for assumption, first one is si Darren Watson. So si Darren Watson is 0.074. So that's greater than 0.05. So pasok. Si Cook's distance pala is wala namang lahat naman is less than 0. So pasok siya. And then si collinearity test greater than 0.05. And then si normality test is 0.43. Then si Q-plot is walang significant outliers. So lahat naman is okay. So let's proceed with the overall model test. Okay, so for this one, yung p-value natin for our model fit is less than 0.05. So that means the significant yung model natin. So tama yung mga variables na ginagamit natin. Then for R squared naman, now it became 96%, 96.1%. So that means that 96.1% of the variation in our dependent variable can be accounted to the combined independent variable, which is yung apat. So, as you can see here, if kanina, si number of passenger, 88% lang siya or 89% lang siya. But when it's combined with other dependent or other variables, nagiging 98%, so 96%. So that means less than 4% na lang is makukuha na natin lahat ng independent variables necessary to determine or predict the cost for the variable. And among these 4 variables, si gender lang ang may significant relationship. Si number of passengers, si year and si sales ay wala. Pero kanina, if we could remember, may significant relationship yung number of passenger, but dito na iba siya. Anyway, so yun, sobrang taas ng impact nila with the cost. But if we are to check the coefficient, si gender lang ang may significant or positive relationship. Now, this mean that among these predictors, si gender yung may pinakamataas or may pinaka impact in the cost of as our variable. So that's the multiple linear regression. Okay, and for the last one, let's have the binomial logistic regression. So for this one, ginagamit to siya if our data involved in dichotom or we have a dichotomous independent variables, meaning dalawa lang yung option. It can be, for example, a pass or fail or a yes or no. So yun. Now, to navigate binomial logistic regression in Jamovi, let me have first the screen. Okay, so just click the analysis and then regression, and then logistic regression, you have here the binomial. Then you click that one. Okay, so in this data sample, since yung dichotomous ng na data dito is gender, so let's try to have this as our DV. And then the chemistry grade as our covariance. The pretest, and then program as our factor. So let's just use this as for illustration purposes. Then yung assumption check naman is isa lang. Yung collinearity lang. which is okay naman because this is greater than 0.05, so check. And then the other assumption that involved as the variable, the variable must be dichotomous, so which is checked since yung gender, dalawa lang, it's either female or male. Then there must be at least two or more independent variables, and then independence, and there's also independence naman sa observation. So check naman yung lahat, already given naman. Now the next one is let's have our the other information that we needed, and then overall model. Okay, so as you can see here in our model fit measure, our p-value is 0.9. So that means that there's our model is insignificant, which is true naman kasi dili man gyud nato ma-predict si gender using program, chemistry grade, and pretest. So what should say relevance? So correct ang ato ang or correct na our model is insignificant. So then si Nagelkerk's naman, or the R squared natin, it's 3.9%. So wala dyan siya dakong impact to our dependent variable. And then our chi-squared is only 0.6. So wala siya kabot og 1 gani. So if we are to check naman isa-isa ang mga factors, so wala ni isa diri ang makaingon nga na ay significant or nothing or none of this predictor is a significant predictor for gender. So basically, that means that program can pretest score, chemistry grade can not predict gender. So that's it for our binomial logistic regression. So this is the end of my tutorial video for all the tests that we have. That's basically 10 tests, no? And thank you so much for watching, and God bless.